I bet 1,000.
1,000.
And some people pay more. Like I heard some people pay extra because they need a little bit VIP.
This is a fantastic bit of reporting by The Sun. We hear every day at the moment of more migrant crossings, and it's easy to kind of normalize what's happening, even though I think the vast majority of voters are outraged by this continuing flow of people from goodness knows where into our country. They throw away their documentation. They make an absolute point, in many cases, of hiding where they're truly from. This is a national security issue. It is a national scandal, but we've become quite used to it in a way that I think is quite dangerous. Certainly the politicians have no right to get used to it. So it is wonderful to see footage from the actual shoreline where these boats depart. And what was new about the revelations here was this sense that the market is becoming ever more sophisticated for these crossings. So Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, has vowed to smash the vile people smuggling gangs. Now, those are the words he uses again and again and again. And so does his Home Secretary, as if simply by repeating those words, that will somehow make the gangs evaporate. And as if you took out one or two gangs, that would not leave a vacancy for more to crop up, because the problem here is the market. It's not the ability to supply the market. It's the fact that there is demand. And what I loved about Ed's report was this notion that so far from the people smuggling gangs dissipating as a result of anything the UK government has done, and forget the French doing anything, is that the gangs are getting ever more sophisticated. You can now have a VIP crossing, first class, second class, pay a bit extra, get a boat that's a little bit less likely to sink. And I must say that if I were living in Yemen or Eritrea or Somalia, and I heard about the deal on offer in the UK, I mean, my God, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? I don't blame these people for giving it a go, because the statistics are all on their side. And as Ed's report revealed, the French are pretty encouraging of this. It solves a problem for them. On you go, guys. Just over there is Nirvana. And people are paying really quite modest amounts. I know £1,000 was one of the interviewees said that they paid 1,000. I'm assuming it's pounds. It could be dollars. That is a lot of money if you're from a very rough background, if you're from a very troubled country. But nonetheless, it's £1,000 to a new life. And when they come over here, they are put into hotels, as we all know too well. And at that point, they are basically able to play and game the system at taxpayers' expense. And either they're using publicly funded lawyers to get the right to remain and then get the documentation they require to work, or more often in the interim, they are melting away into the black economy.
How many times have you tried to make the crossing?
10 times.
10 times.
My first ride was in Christmas Day.
I don't blame people for wanting to create a better life for themselves, but it is illegal to come over to the UK in this manner. And the only way we are going to stop this flow of people is by picking them up safely and turning them back. And if you're not going to do that, then you have to have a policy of incarceration on arrival. I don't mean being escorted in a nice cozy coach to a hotel where everything's provided. I mean a detention centre, a prison. And once people start knowing that is inevitable, if they cross the channel, and they will have paid an awful lot of money for them to make it to the UK, where they will find themselves basically in prison until they are inevitably deported, then that stops the flow of migrants. This isn't that difficult. Australia has done it, and they did it very effectively. And yes, it's costly to begin with, and maybe it's painful politically, not for me, and I don't think for the vast majority of the population of the UK. I think they would be perfectly comfortable with people either being safely picked up and safely returned back to France, and soon the French are going to start dealing with it if the problem keeps coming back to them, or incarcerated. Once you've done that for a short while, the message goes out and people stop coming. It isn't that difficult. You just have to be very rigid in your policy of dealing with it.